We have been looking at restricted key figure and new selections. So whatever you can achieve with restricted key figure, you can achieve the same thing with new selection. So for now, understand the difference is what? Your restricted key figure is global. It can be reused in n number of queries designed on the same cube. Not in global means what? It can be used in all the queries which are designed on the same provider. But when you say selection, it is local to this particular query alone. That's a major difference. Okay. Now one more difference. Now consider it now. So we're going to use something called structures here. We'll discuss on that later. But now one. So I've got another structure here. I've got two structures here. Okay. Now one structure, right click and say new selection. Edit. Am I able to use key figures and dimensions into it? Yeah. So expand the key figure. So let's say I want sale somewhat. Say sales channel something. Yeah. So when I am building a new selection on this structure, I am able to use key figures and characteristics. But when I go to other structure, when I say new selection, can I use key figures? Key figures can be used in only in one structure. Keywords can be used only in one structure. So when you say new selection, it is same as restricted keyword is fine, but it's local. But when you get into details, when you have two structures, the new selection built on one structure can use key figures in it, and the new selection built on the other structure cannot use key figures. Or keywords can be used in only one structure. That's why the new selections built on one structure use key figures, and the new selection on the other structure cannot use key figures. Okay. So this is about your restricted key figure and new selections. What is the restricted key figure was? It does do the restriction, but affecting only one particular key figure alone. But normal restriction, if I do in filter, it affects the entire query, all the key figures. Next, calculated key figure. Okay, geography key and about amount. About sales amount and about, let's say, total order quantities. So these two key figures are straight away coming from cube. At the runtime of the report, I would like to calculate another column called ASP, average selling price. What is the logic of it? Quantity divided by amount. So how do I do this? So whenever you want to calculate a new key figure based on the key figures from the provider, okay, you can derive a new one by using calculate key figure. Now select your key figure folder, right click and say what? New calculate key figure. Now right click on this and say edit and define your logic. Now if I say 100 divided by 2, you would say 50. But if I say 100 rupees divided by 2 kgs, then doesn't make sense. So when I want to use this amount and quantity into the calculations, I should remove those units and then take it. So I have a function here. So you'll have operands, functions, and you can use operators here and numbers and define your logic what you want, like a formula editor. I go to data functions. There is a function called value without dimension. So that is your sales amount. Then I'll say divide by no dim of what is it, order count. So when I use no dim function, it takes key figure without the unit value. Okay. The description, what you want, you can give it ASP and some technical name ZCKF. And then say save. Okay, boss. Now drag this into the report. Okay. Save in. Now, so it is basically dividing this with this approximately 15 into 9 is 90,000, right? So 99,000 divided by 15,000, something like 6.2 something. This is my average selling price. And you can control this number of decimals or whatever it is here. Look at this. You can select this key here. Now you can go to properties, display, number of decimal place. How many do you want? You just want 2 decimals. Like this, you can create a new calculated key figures. Clear? So we'll just try to look at those functions. What all functions do we have in CKF now? Right click, say new CKF and say dummy. Now you have see. Can I use a calculate key figure into another calculated key figure? Can I use restricted key figure into another calculated key figure? Yes. So I can use any of these as operands. Direct keywords from the calculated key figures, another restricted keywords into the calculated keyword also. Yeah. Then I've got functions. Now basic functions I'll have 2. One is high and equal to. You can switch on the technical names, symbols here. High and equal to. When I say high, it's like power. Like say, if I say 2 high and say 4, it's like 2 power 4. What is 2 power 4? 2 into 2 into 2 into 2. So 4, 4, 8, 8 to 16. That's the high function. Then you have another function like high. Equal to, just an equal to functions. Don't worry. Then there's something called percentage functions. Percentage variance, percentage share. If I say 20 percentage share on 100, so what is it? What is percent? So operand 1 and operand 2. It calculates percentage of operand 1 on operand 2. What is the percentage of 20 on 100? 5%. sorry, 20%. You get to see the result with percentage symbol. Yeah? So 20%. You can calculate a percentage on that. Like operand 1, percentage share, operand 2. It calculates percentage of operand 1 on operand 2. Then there is something called percentage variance. So 20 percentage variance on, let's say, 100. So what it does is, first it finds the difference between operand 1 and operand 20 minus 100, and then calculates the difference of that, calculates the percentage of the difference on operand 2. So 20 minus 100, 80, and minus 80, and percentage of minus 80 on 100. That's how it calculates. Okay, 80%. Now, then we have percentage share of result or overall result. Now, what does this do is, all are pretty common. Say now, I have this report. I have the amount as 99,000 something, okay. I go to the bottom and the total is something like 6 crore, something like this. I would like to calculate percentage of this 99,000 of each individual value on the overall result. Okay. So I will say sales amount. I will say percentage share of what? Of percentage share of overall result. So this will calculate percentage share of the sales amount. Now it is 0.01%. So 99,000 is 9,91,000 is only 0.01% on something like 6 crores or something. Look at this one, 92 lakhs, it is around 1.3%, because it is calculating percentage on what? On the overall result. So now got only overall result, that's why it makes sense. Same way you have percentage share of result. Resultant, if you have two characteristics, the sub results will be referred as result and main result will be referred as overall result. And if you have multiple, if you say now report result and overall result, both will be same. Signed based. Next we have data functions. So the function like count, the name itself tells you what value equal to 1 if operand is not equal to 0. So if I say count of 9, what is the result was? So value equal to 1 if operand what you pass is not equal to 0. So what is the result now? 1. If the value what you pass in is not equal to 0, it will return 1, otherwise 0. Okay, but if I say count of 0, then what? If I say count of 0, then 0. Okay. And you have another function called delta, which is quite opposite to this. What is this function? Delta, value equal to 1 if operand is equal to 0. But is it not quite opposite to your count function? అంతే కదన్నా. The function, like if I say delta of 0, this will return what? 1. Delta of non-zero value will give you 0. అది పాయింట్. ఓకే నమస్ చూడాలి ఇదేమన్నా. Then there is a function called date. Okay. So when you say date of say 5, it will convert this 5 is considered as number of days and converts it to date format. It takes starting date as 01010001. From there it adds up 5 days. Zero one zero one triple 01 is a start date plus 5 days. Then it becomes what? 060100. Then we have a function called noDiv. Okay, for example, now anything divided by 0 is what? What? Infinity. Yeah. So to control that kind of exceptions, we use noDiv. So whenever you perform a division operation, we always use this noDiv. So it brings infinity first. So to convert this to 0, then what you do is we'll say there's function like noDiv. So this has to convert this value to what? Infinity to what? 0. So it will control that exception of divided by 0 error. Okay, boss? And you just see noDiv, practically show you. So just have this formula with only sales amount. So whatever we have in the sales amount, the same thing comes into this key here. Night 8,000. Okay. But does it come with currency? INR? So I would like to have without currency. So data functions, noDiv of sales. Now do you get to see this amount with currency, without units? Without the currency or unit. That's how the noDiv function works. Next, there is a function called no error bus. We use this to control the exception of currency conversion. For example, you have amount with currencies and you're doing currency conversion. For some reason, it is not able to find the conversions there. Then it gives us as 100 error. Instead of giving it as INR or some currency, because of no exchange rates maintained, it cannot determine the currency. Then it says ERR, OR and error. To control those exceptions, I use no error of that. Okay. Result to overall result. If you want to refer to the result of, let's say overall result of, I'll say amount. This will just refer to overall result of the sales amount. Sales amount overall result ఏముందో మొత్తం అదంతా ఈ కాలంలో చూపిస్తుంది. What is overall result was 675 something, right? So 675. Now does it you get the overall result like this. So when you want to refer to the results of some column into calculations, we can use this function. Concentrate. Now when you're creating a calculate key view, does it perform the same calculation in the entire column? A column with adhe calculation chestunda? And there is a function called time, okay, which will convert number of seconds into time format. It takes the parameter as number of seconds, converts it into time format, starting from 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. Okay, sorry, not 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0 hour, 0 minute, 0 seconds. From there it adds up 100 seconds. I'm playing all the time. 1 minute, 1 minute 40 seconds. Okay, like this you have some data functions. Next we have mathematical functions, like we have absolute value, log, max, min. Basically I think that's a basic max only, but I'm a BCom student, so I don't know all this. We should work it out. Okay, absolute value, min, max, sine, square root, truncate, it's a basic max, Nagarava. Then there's something called trigonometric. When I don't know basic max, no possibility of knowing trigonometric, sine, cos, tan, I don't know. I think you should use it. This I know. Boolean functions, it just checks the condition and results either 1 or 0 plus. So Boolean operator just checks any of the condition, less than, greater than, not equal to, all this. And you can also have combine multiple conditions by using and or not of, leave, returns 1 for single value, 0 for aggregated values. You can do anything. XOR, either both XOR, exclusive OR, when both conditions are satisfied, when both not satisfied or when both satisfied, like that. And build up a condition, and when the condition satisfied, returns 1 or 0. Okay, boss? Chapta. Ippudu naaku chudu requirement. Actually the real time lo I'm going to show you one example which makes it complex. అంటే నా అండర్స్టాండింగ్ ఏమంటే రియల్ టైంలో ఇఫ్ యూ సే కాంప్లెక్స్ క్వెరీ ఇట్ మీన్స్ కాంప్లెక్స్ సీకే రెస్ట్ ఆల్ ఇస్ pretty much simpler, but when you say complex, because what they do when they do a time estimating of the queries, they categorize this query into simple, medium and complex and AC then but time estimate as well. When I say complex, more CKFs and complex calculator, you'll have 40 to 50 calculations into it and making the query complex. Ante then but that tappa very complexity em undadu. It's all complexity on CKF, because you got the functions, right? With those functions you'll have to implement any logic you have. That's the point. Okay, coding లేదు ఇక్కడ, కోడింగ్ ఉంటే నీ ఇష్టం, కానీ ఇక్కడ కోడింగ్ కాదు, ఉన్న ఆప్షన్స్లోనే యూ షుడ్ ఇంప్లిమెంట్ ఎనీ లాజిక్ యూ హ్యావ్. ఓకే, సో అది ఇలా అంటాడమ్మా. So I have something of total production cost. So I got total production cost and sales amount. Now I would like to compare whether my cost is more or amount is more. If cost is more means what? I've got loss. So I would like to just check these two and build up another column. Okay. Suppose if production cost is on the higher side, I just have to result 1. Okay, and if this is on the higher side, I should result as 0. So then what I'll do? New CKF. At a major real time look complex, and this is how it becomes complex when you write if conditions. So what I'm saying, మంది ఏందన్నా if no dim of production cost is greater than no dim of I'll just leave it like this. What happens? If production cost is really greater than the amount, it gives you 1. If not, it is going to give you 0. It's a Boolean operator. ఈ సినారియోలో అన్నిట్లో ఆల్మోస్ట్ సేల్స్ అమౌంట్ గ్రేటర్గా ఉంటుంది. It's all zeros. There is no case where we are getting losses. Always the production cost is less than my amount. Clear? నాకు ఇలాగా నా రిక్వైర్మెంట్ స్లైట్లీ చేంజ్డ్. I need to compare production cost and amount. If production cost is greater, I need to get the production cost into my column. If sales amount is greater, I need to get the sales amount. I just need to compare these two columns. Whichever is greater, I need to print the value in the third column. How will you write this? See, as of now, what is it just prints out either 0 or 1, right? నాకు అట్లా కాదు, రెండు కంపేర్ చేయాలి. ఏది గ్రేటర్ అయితే అది ప్రింట్ కావాలి ఆ కాలంలో. ఎట్లా రాస్తాం? ఇది రాస్తే ఇంక అయిపోయా, నువ్వు ఏదని రాయించన్నట్టు. నో డిమ్ ఆఫ్ ప్రొడక్షన్ కాస్ట్. ప్రొడక్షన్ కాస్ట్ ఈజ్ గ్రేటర్ దాన్ గ్రేటర్ దాన్ అప్పుడు సెలెక్టర్ నో డిమ్ ఆఫ్ సేల్స్ అమౌంట్ పెట్టినావు. ఇంకా తర్వాత now what does this results now? If production cost is greater, it returns to see 1. If this is greater than sales amount is greater, it is going to 0. Danger meeking all. If production cost is greater, it must print me what? Production cost. Else 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 అని ఉండదు. You should implement if else. How will you implement? ఉన్న దానితోనే ఇంప్లిమెంట్ చేయాలి. మళ్ళీ ఇక్కడ దర్ ఇస్ నో ఫంక్షన్ లైక్ ఎల్స్ అట్లే ఉండదు ఇక్కడ. ఓకే, this is real time. This is the kind of recurrence you have. Add and if you do and what is it? So anyway, it's going to result 1 or 0, right? Clear that. We don't have equal to. We don't have else. So నేను రాసే అబ్బా అంటావు చూడు, zero. That is, so everyone knows functions. About using them is what makes it different. And I think knowledge of implementing the CQ is what makes difference from person to person on the query designer. Evrasana. With the existing operators, did I implement if else? I said if production cost is greater than sales amount into no dim of production cost, means what? If production cost is really greater, it returns 1. 1 into production cost becomes what? Production cost. plus no dim of sales amount greater than production. If this condition is satisfied, obviously this will be not satisfied. This will return 0. 0 into anything would give you 0. So 0 plus the production cost gives you production. So to implement if else, you use that plus operator and then try to implement it. ఇదే రియల్ టైంలో పెద్దగా కనిపిస్తుంది, ఎందుకంటే ద నేమ్ ఆఫ్ ద కీవర్డ్ వుడ్ బి వెరీ బిగ్. ఒక్కొక్క లైన్ ఒక్కొక్క కీవర్డ్ ఫామ్ చేసి పెద్ద చూడడానికి మనకు మంది కాదు బయటకు వస్తుంది. బట్ యాక్చువల్గా అదే చూస్తే ఏముంటుందంటే ఈ ఫెయిల్సే ఉంటుంది, ఏం పెద్దగా ఏముండదు. ఓకే బస్ పడదు. Not sum. For each record it checks the value, and whichever is greater I want that value to be coming in. Yeah, I'll so అంటే నాకు తెలిసి this is what could be most complex one when you try to build if conditions into it. So now in every case you basically get the sales amount, because in all the cases your sales amount is greater. Okay, was fine. You're saying you want boolean, and then you're saying you want some boolean. Let me get ones. So in this case, in every case the sales amount is greater than amount, so it has to just give me ones. So he wants to see the total result. Even the result is calculated as what? The Boolean function only. Now you don't want that to be one. There is a go to keyword properties, calculations, calculate result as summation. One hour. This is what you wanted, or anything else? Okay. Okay, boss. So this is about CKF. Okay, calculated key figure.